Hi everyone, very good morning and good evening. So we'll start the session, guys. Let me share my screen. Okay. So previous session we saw that the different table types, right? The what is permanent, what is transient, what is temporary. Now today we will see so how we can able to utilize this retention period for time travel implementation. Before that, whatever the tables we have created, the database or schema, whatever it may be created, what is the default retention? Default retention period is 1 day, right? 1 day by default. If you don't specify anything, by default retention period is 1 day. You cannot go beyond that. Only for the permanent tables, you can go maximum retention period up to 90 days. This is only for the permanent table. What will be the minimum? Minimum will be 0 day. So it means we can adjust this for the 0 days. Retention period can make it as a 0 also. But by default, when you create any database, any schema, by default retention period will be 1 day only. Now here, when it is coming to retention period, right, we have to be very careful. Here it is going to pick the retention period based on the inheritance. From the database level, it inherit to the schema level. From the schema level, it can inherit to the table level. The same way like how the types it is going to inherit. But one thing, everything it is every object when you created it, it is going to be individual retention period. It means your database retention period can be 1 day possible. Within the database, whatever the schema you are going to create, default retention is default retention is 1 day. Default retention is 1 day. You can specify up to, if it is a permanent, up to 90 days also. It means if you don't specify anything, by default it will inherit from higher level. If you specify anything, then it will become a, because of this is it will it will happen because of micro partitions, how the data is going in the storage layer. When we are discussing about the micro partitions, we will discuss in depth. Now at this moment, understand this: database level can be inherited if you don't specify anything for the schema level. When you specify schema level 90 days, then 90 days will be applicable for the schema level. The same way, for example, there is two schemas. Let's one is default schema. This retention period is 1 day. Another schema, now like custom schema we created. This retention period is 90 days. Okay, let's assume that. Now, if I create a table here, by default, retention period will be inherited from higher level 1 day. At the same time, within this schema also, even if your retention period of the schema level can be 1 day, but you can create retention for another table as 90 days. That is possible. It means if you don't specify anything, it will inherit from higher level. If you specify something, it will be individual. It will be custom. Same is applicable for the table, same is applicable for the schemas also. One more thing, this is retention period you can modify, you can change. So this only for the permanent, not for the transient. Transient you cannot able to do any changes more than 1 day. It can be a schema, it can be a table. You cannot go beyond 1 day, right? So there is no concept of increasing the retention period for transient schemas, transient tables, temporary tables. That is not possible. You cannot go beyond 1 day. Only this is applicable for the permanent. Let's say here observe this one. This is a database, right? What is the database retention period here we created? By default, it is database retention period is 1 day, right? If you see show databases, let's come here, observe this one, show databases. what you observed, this particular class database retention period, see this, 1 day, right? Now we created some of the schemas here. What about this schemas retention period? By default, it will inherit from the higher level. So this schemas retention period also 1 day. See this one? By default, if I create. Now I wanted to create a custom schema with the retention period within the same database. See this? I'm going to create schema. Then I will give, for example, ret schema. Then I'm going to give data underscore retention underscore time in days. See this. What is the retention? It's up to us. You can specify 1, you can specify 0, up to 90 days. See here, when you create a schema, which schema you are creating under the permanent database means this is a permanent schema. So permanent will have capable of giving the retention period up to 90 days, 0 to 90 days, in between whatever you can able to give, you can give it. Now I will give, for example, 30 days I have given here. Observe this, what we are doing here. We are specifying this is for the 30 days. 30 days I have specified, right? Now observe this, the new schema is created. This schema, if you observe the retention period, show schemas within this database. What is the retention period for this particular schema? See this one. How many days? 30 days. What about the database retention period? 1 day. If you don't specify, because here when you created every object it will be individually stored as a in the form of partitions. Based on the partitions it will consider. When you specify retention period, based on that this versioning is going to maintain in the backend. That we will see that in a partition session. Now here what happened, you can create retention on our own. Even though if your database retention period is 1 day, you can give up to 30 days here. Now which is, now when I create this schema, this connected to the same schema, right? Retention schema, this worksheet connected to same schema. Now if I create a default table here within this schema, then what will happen? If I create a table here by default, the table will be created with, for example, I will create this table. I am not specifying any retention period. I will remove this temporary. Within this, I am creating this particular table, and I am not specifying any retention period for the table. Observe this one. This table, what will happen? This will be, retention will be inherited from higher level. What is the higher level? 30 days, right? Now see this, sorry, come here, show tables. Observe this one. What happened? This is the table, this is the schema. Observe this, 30 days has been applicable. Now this is by default. If you don't specify, it will be 30 days. Now I wanted to I wanted to create a custom table based on the retention period. I don't want 30 days. I can decrease, I can increase also for my specific custom table based on the retention period. Let's observe this one now. I will create another table here, employee 1. I am creating another table. Here I am going to specify retention period. Retention period I will give 45 days. What I am doing here? What is the schema level retention period? 30 days. But what we are doing? We are specifying custom retention period for employee table 1. It is applicable this for this table. Now within this particular schema, we have two tables. One is employee 1 table, another one is employee table. See this one, these are the two tables. Now one is inherited from higher level, one is custom. See this, both the retention periods 30, 45. Now this is one of your interview question as well as certification question. Now in a schema, I have two tables. One is inherited from the schema level retention period. One is custom retention period. Okay. Here 30 days is inherited from schema level, 45 days custom retention period. Now, if I alter schema retention period from 30 days to 60 days, what will happen to the stable retention period? Understand the question? Here already we have two things, two tables. One is inherited from schema level, one is custom. If I change the both are available in a schema. If I change the retention period for the schema level, if I alter the retention period, what is going to be happen for the table level? Remember, which is inherited from schema level, that will change. Which is custom, there is no impact for that. See this, I will give alter schema. What is the schema name here? RET schema. RET schema. Schema set retention period. I am modifying this retention period to 60 days. 60. Observe this now. See this. What happened now? It's changed, right? Schema level has been changed. Now observe these tables. Schema, first observe the schema level retention period. Show schemas. Show schemas. What you observe the retention period here. 60, right? Now observe for the tables. Within this you can see show tables. There is two things. Which is inherited? 30 is inherited from higher level. Observe this now. 30 changed to 60. What about the 45? That is a custom inheritance, right? So this is a custom retention period. There is no change. The same way, so if you like change the retention period for database also, it will be which is inherited from higher level, those will have changes. Which it is a custom, there is no changes, right? So if you do it for the database also, the same thing. Now let's come to the actual topic of time travel implementation. Now here we created a table, right? We created a table. What is this table retention period now? 60 days. Time travel will start from the day of the table create, the time of exactly when the table is created. From that particular timestamp it will start. Now how many days we have given for this? 60 days we have given for this. Now let's assume this is first day, day one. Observe this, what we are doing here to understand the time travel. So in the day one we created a table, right? What is the table we created? This is the table which you have created. This is day one, guys. Now observe the day one. When you created a table, what you can see, day one, just structure is created. This is day one, structure is created. Now let's assume I am in day two. I am in day two. Now what I will do is I will insert some data to this particular table. Some 5 rows, 3 rows I will insert data to this particular table. This is the table name. I am inserting data to this particular table. How many rows I am inserting? 3 rows in day two. Now day two I inserted 3 rows, right? Now this is, if I see in the day two, what I can able to see that here, I can see 3 rows here. 3 rows inserted today. That is in day two. Now let's come to day three. Let's assume we are in day three now. Day three, what I am going to do is I am going to delete one row from this table. Delete from this particular table, where observe this, based on the ID equal to 8. I am deleting. Day 3 I have done delete operation on a table. Now when you check the data on day 3, what you will observe now here, when you check this, observe this one, you can able to see 2 rows data it is available, one is deleted, right? Day 3 happened. Now day 4, now we are in day 4. Let's assume day 4. Again what I will do is I will insert some 2 more rows. Let me pick the values here. From here I will pick different values. I am going to insert. Okay, so here I am inserting 3 more rows. I am inserting in day 4. Now the day 4 is done. Now just check the data. Sorry, what happened here? Table name is wrong.
Table name is
Yeah. Now the data has been inserted. Now check the data after day 4. See this. Observe this. Day 4 what we have done? We have inserted 3. Totally we have 5 rows here. What happened here? 3 newly inserted. 3 newly inserted in day 4. Now let's come to day 5. Let's assume today. Okay. Now we are in day 5. Assume that this table is created 5 days before. Every day we are doing some operation on a table. Now in the day 5 what I am going to do is I will update table set. I will update the salary column, where for example employee ID I will pick employee ID equal to 3. I am updating employee ID 3. Salary is all 9s I am updating for employee ID 3. Now it has been updated, right? Now in the day 5, if I observe the data here, what I can see? I can see total here 5 rows, but the day 5 what happened? 1 row updated. Now when you check, this is your current day. Let's assume that this is our current day. Now when you see this, this is your current data, right? This is your final data in the table. What all the operations we performed on this table from the day 1? Day 1 we created a structure. Day 2 we have inserted. Day 3 we have deleted. Day 4 again we have inserted. Day 5 I have updated, right? Now this is the current state of the table, what it contains in this particular table. Now when you query the data from the table, you can able to see this is the values. Now our requirement is, I wanted to go back and then check 2 days before how the data looks in available in the table. I wanted to see before this delete operation or update operation, how the data available in the table. I wanted to go back and then check first day, when the table is created on first day, how the data looks like in the table. What we are doing, we are going back to the history and we are checking at that particular period of time what exactly is available in this table, right? It's a kind of snapshot information. We are fetching the information at specific time period or specific before running the query, right? That particular thing we are going to call this as a time travel. What we are trying to do here, 2 days before I wanted to see what exactly is available. 2 days before what exactly is available. So I mean, like this is day 5, right? 2 days before means day 3. We can see only 2 rows. One is deleted. Only 2 rows we can able to see that. That we have to get it. But this is the final data which will be available in the table permanently. That doesn't matter. So once you inserted the data, you can see the data into this particular table. the permanently it will be available here until we drop. But what we are checking here, we are going back and then checking specific period of time, what exactly available at that particular period of time, like a snapshot information. For example, to implement this, right, we have three different approaches. We have three different approaches. One is offset method. Another one is query ID method. Another one is timestamp method. These are the three different approaches when you want to implement a time travel. This on this particular topic, definitely you will get a certification question. So what is the like approaches when to use which one? For example, offset method. Offset method, if it is near time period, like 1 minute before, 5 minutes before, we can use it. But in offset, always we need to specify in form of seconds. We need to specify the time in the form of seconds only. When it is coming to the query ID, if you know the query ID, like deleted query, updated query, or inserted query, whatever it may be, if you know clearly, okay, this is the query ID I have executed at this particular specific period of time. Before this update, I wanted to do this. I wanted to see what exactly is available. Before the delete operation happened on a table, I wanted to check how it looks like. Then you will go for query ID option. On specific before the query execution, what is available before query execution, that is query ID. Coming to the timestamp, you wanted to go specific time. It can be up to 90 days. You can go 1 week before, you can go 1 month before, you can go 2 months before, you can go until 90 days you can go. And a specific timestamp also we can able to implement it. If you want exactly at that time, at this particular month or at this particular day, like at that particular hour, minute, even seconds also, we can specify in a timestamp exact time stamp. If I wanted to go and then check, then we can use timestamp option to get back the data. We can see that what exactly is available. If you want, you can able to restore it. You can create it as a other table also. These are the three different approaches we will use. When we are using offset method, let's observe this one. So let me go to this. Let me come to this. This is a retention period. Now, when it is coming to offset, we have to use in the form of seconds as we discussed. See this. Select star from table at offset. When we are using offset, see this -60 I am mentioning because of seconds. -60 means minus we need to specify because we are going back, right? That's the reason we are mentioning minus. 16 is nothing but seconds, 1 minute. 60 seconds means 1 minute. We are checking 1 minute before what is the data available in this table. 1 minute before what is the data available in this table. You can see the data. Now, I wanted to go back 5 minutes before, then multiplied by 5, right? Multiplied by 5. So 5 minutes multiplied by 60 seconds, totally it will be 300 seconds. Then observe this, 5 minutes before what is the data available. See this? This is the data available 5 minutes before. Now let me go 7 minutes before. What is the data available? What we are using the command select star from table. We are using offset. Then we are giving the timestamp. This is a equal symbol, guys. Don't get confused here. In Snowflake, we are going to use some of the queries. This symbol we will use it. That is for the equal. So -60 multiplied by 7 means 7 minutes before. Observe this 7 minutes before. What is the data here? There is no update for this particular employee ID. Salary is not updated. Now let's come 8 minutes before. See this, what you can see. This is the 8 minutes before. Now come 9 minutes before. Observe this. What we observed, 9 minutes before we have only 2 rows, right? Now let's go to 10 minutes before. 10 minutes before we have 2. Let's come to 11 minutes before. Here always we need to mention in the form of seconds. See this, 11 minutes before we have 3 rows. Later on it has been deleted 1, right? The same way, let me go 13 minutes before. Observe what you can see. At that particular time, 13 minutes before, the table structure is created, that's it. But we don't have any data in the table, right? So see, remember this, we are not modifying anything in the actual table, just we are checking based on the offset method, based on the time travel method. We are going back and then checking at that particular point of time what it is available. See, if we are getting this historical data, what it is happening in the back end, somewhere it has to store, right? Then only we will retrieve it. That is nothing but it will get it from a micro partitions. Okay, this word, so remember this, it will be picked from backend micro partitions versioning concept. Okay, we will come to that later. Now if I give 15 minutes before, is the table is created at the time? Let's observe. Yes, table is created. Let me go 18 minutes before. Is the table created? Yes. Let me go 25 minutes before. If the table is created, it will give us, see this one, what happened? It is telling that 25 minutes before the table itself, it is not created, right? The time travel will start from when the object is creation. From that time onwards, it is going to capture everything, right? But here, the object itself is not created. That's what it is telling, right? So, like if I give 22, we can see structure is, it is not created. 21, maybe 21 also it's not created. Let's come to 20 minutes before. 20 minutes before, no. Let's come 19 minutes before. Yes, it's created, right? The table is available at that time, right? At this particular exactly 19 minutes before, we are specifying at that time, right? That is snapshot. At that exact particular period of time, what is available in this table is nothing but just a structure is created. 20 minutes before, there is no structure. Later on, when you are increasing the time, you can able to see that. This is for offset method. If it's a near time, we can use this, because always we have to give in the form of seconds only here. Okay, now let's see, before update or before delete statement, I wanted to know what exactly is available. Then we will use query ID concept. See this one, this is the query ID concept. We can use select star from table before. This is the table, right? Select star from table before, we have to give the statement. Somewhere we will call it as a statement, in some situations we will call it as a job ID, or some places we will call it as a query ID. Don't get confused, all are similar. Statement or job ID or query ID, it refers to query ID only. Now here we need to specify which query is executed. Before that query we wanted to get it. It means I wanted to see before delete statement, what is the data available in the table. I wanted to compare the current table and then previous values. What all the things has been deleted, I wanted to know. Then what you can do, you need to identify the query ID. From where we will get the query ID? Go here, monitor, On the monitor you can able to see query history. See this one, where is our delete statement? Come and check the delete statement. This is updated statement. Yeah, here this is a delete statement. Here we have deleted id 8. Now let me copy this query id. This is the query id. Sorry, this is delete statement, right? Just a minute. This is the delete statement. Now this is the query id. Now we copied the delete statement query id. Now the same query id we are going to give it here. Observe this. We given same query id here. Now if I execute it, what happened? What we have deleted? 8. id 8 has been deleted. Before deleted, this is the value. For example, I have deleted multiple rows. I wanted to compare with the current table and then this table. So at this particular time, before this particular ID has been deleted, before the delete statement executed, so how the data looks like. If I wanted to preserve this, what you can do? You can create a restore table. For example, see this, create table. I will use restore table, create table name as the syntax will give restore table. Okay. Now see this one. What will happen now? New table with created with this particular data. Then what I can do? I can compare in between the current table and then previous table to understand in these both the tables. This is the actual table now. Actual data which it is available. This is the restored table before the delete entries. Then I can able to see what exactly available at that particular period of time, right? Before the delete statement is executed, this is the data what it is available. These are the things I can compare it. Okay, these are the IDs is not available, right? This is query ID. Same way, if I want to before update, if I wanted to check, we can give the updated query ID here. Then we can able to see what exactly is available. Now let's come to the timestamp. Same option. We can use timestamp also. When you are using timestamp, right? So here in our trial account, right, we have to set our this worksheet to specific time zone. But in when you are working in a project, it is not required. We will set the timestamp here. By default, it will be in a default timestamp. See this, select current timestamp. If you see, this is a default timestamp. This particular timestamp, I wanted to keep it in UTC format. This is the timestamp now, current timestamp. Now we are converting, I mean, we are setting the session to UTC time zone. So this one, alter session to this UTC time zone. Then the UTC time zone will be specified, because when we are using timestamp option, we have to specify in the form of UTC time zone. Now select the current timestamp. Now this is the UTC time zone. This is the UTC time zone. See this one, the difference, right? You can able to see that. Okay. Now this is UTC time zone. This time zone we need to specify when you are working with a timestamp implementation. Now here, this is year. See this one. This is month. This is date, and then you can able to see hour, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. This is the syntax plus 00 syntax we have to give with a timestamp. Now, if you wanted to execute a query, you wanted to see what exactly is available before this particular timestamp. See this one, select star from table. What is the table here? This is the table. See this carefully. Before we are going to give this timestamp. For example, here today only we created this table. That's why we are using this particular timestamp. For example, let's assume the table is created 50 days before. Now I wanted to go back and then check 45 days before what is available. Then you can change the like a date and then time here, right? We can change the date and then month here, then it will go. Now here, see this, if I execute this, now what is available, you can get it. Now here I will change, this is hours and then this is minutes, right? I will change this 2 hours and then 56 minutes. See this, at this time exactly what is available in the table is this is. Now I will change this for this particular time, 2 hours 50 minutes in the UTC time zone for this particular today. This is the data. Let me change it to 2 hours exactly 40. Observe this, what I can see. Table itself not created. Let me give 45. Observe this. Table is created. Let's observe 46. Just I am changing the here minutes, right? The same way. So you can change, if you want a date, if you want a month, you can able to change it. Now see this one, 2 rows has been inserted. At this time, 2 rows is available, right? For example, at 49 minutes, 2 hours 49 minutes for this particular day, this is the data. You can see this 5 rows totally it is available. Now if I check, for example, 50 minutes, 2 hours 50 minutes exactly, you can see this data, right? So like this, you can change, you can go up to how many days you can go here. This whatever we are discussing, this time travel option, it is applicable for permanent table. You cannot go beyond like 1 day for the transient table, means within 24 hours you can use the offset method, you can use the query id method. Within 24 hours you can use it for the transient table. But coming to the permanent table, you can use this timestamp, you can go beyond 1 day to 90 days, up to 90 days, right? That is retention period. Now here we have another option called fail safe, right? We discussed about fail safe. What it will do, let's say, okay, for example, beyond 90 days I wanted to see, then Snowflake has given an option for the fail safe, but as a user, as a even account admin also, you don't have any control on fail safe. Fail safe by default it will be taken care by the Snowflake support team. You don't have any control. Only the thing is you need to raise a request to Snowflake support team to get back the data for specific period of time. For example, 90 days beyond you want it. It means not only 90 days beyond, after the retention time period. For example, you set up the retention period for 5 days only. After the 5 days, you wanted to get it something from the 6th day, 7th day. Because your retention period you limited to 5 days. You wanted to go back and then check at that time what is available. Then your retention period is over, means then it is only applicable for the permanent. 7 days it will be maintained by the Snowflake support team. Within 7 days after the retention period, if you want something, they will get it for us, but it is chargeable. And at the same time, this is non-configurable. This 7 days, this is one of your certification question. Can I able to change the retention period? Can I able to customize the retention period? Is it possible to change retention period by admin? How many days the how many days fail safe can be modified? They will ask in different way, different questions related to fail safe. This fail safe, when it is coming to this, only 7 days, not more than that. And you don't have any control on the fail safe. Only it will be taken care by the Snowflake support team. That is nothing but a Snowflake so personal. And it is not supported for temporary and transient table. Remember these things. Even account admin also, they can see the like billing and usage, but not your, they cannot able to have any fail safe configuration. They cannot able to do it. That is one thing. So we have to remember, guys. So like this, So we are going to implement this cloning. We will park it aside. So in the coming session, once we discussed about the cloning, then we will come to the cloning option. But just for the documentation, so purpose, I have kept the documents here, but you can ignore this clone part. After we discussed cloning implementation, then you can practice that cloning. So now till here, so you can practice the retention period, the time travel. So what is the three different approaches? Offset method, query id method, timestamp method. These are the three different approaches. We can go and then check what is the purpose of this. So you can one thing, so you can understand what is happening, what happened at that particular day. And then if you wanted to restore it, for example, let's assume b- business has done some changes, our business asked us to do some changes. We have done some changes. Later on, after 2 days, they came back to us and then they said that, oh, by mistake we have done these changes, but it is not, it should not be, we wanted to revert it back. Then we have this retention period option with the help of time travel. So we can able to work on these things. Okay, clear? This is about, so how we can able to implement the time travel. This time travel always, it depends on retention period, right? So it's a like relation between these things. Yeah, let's come to the questions. Does the time travel only work for UTC? That timestamp, yes, always we need to specify in the timestamp of UTC format, Naga. Yeah, that's why we have converted the session. Yeah. By default, when we are working with the projects, right, it will be set up to the specifically UTC format only. But here, this is a trial account. That's why we altered the session to UTC time zone. I will support. Yeah, what they will do is they will send the data as a shared one. So it will be directly, it will come to our account. If anything is required, directly it will come to our account till now. But that option is given by the Snowflake. So till today, right, I didn't see anyone is saying that they have approached a fail-safe mechanism. They have requested a support team because of we will keep the retention periods. That is more than enough for us. Yeah, good question. See, when it is coming to a default retention, default means always remember 1 day only. But when it is coming to the project specific, so for permanent tables, we have up to 90 days retention period. But don't think that everyone will create up to 90 days retention period for permanent table. It is not like that. Based on the project scenario, so some may maintain only 20 days, some may maintain 45 days, but no one will maintain up to 90 days because it's a expensive. When you are increasing the retention means indirectly you are keeping that versioning in the backend as a micro partitions. Whenever you want those things, you can able to pick it. So if you are maintaining these micro partitions the backend as a versioning, then the storage cost will be increased. So that's the reason we will, how many days it is required as per the business, those many days only we will keep. So some may maintain only 2 weeks only, some may maintain up to 30 days. It depends on the project to project. There is no like specific criteria. So as per the best practices, we will discuss with the business users. Okay, so may it, this may happen. So sometimes based on that, we can create it. So like 7 days or 15 days or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it may be. It depends. Yeah. Coming to the table types, right? Mostly remember that in dev environment, test environment, we will go with the transient tables. Where we don't require time travel, we will go with transient tables. Where we require time travel, there we will go with permanent tables. Mostly in the production, we will go with the permanent tables. In the permanent tables also, if you are maintaining this as a stage table, like first we will load the data to the stage table. From the stage, so next we will load it to the another table. These stage tables always retention period will be 0. We won't maintain it. It's not required. We are not keeping any data there. So we will maintain the retention period as 0. In the next session, when we are working with the stream, we will see that. That is nothing but a stage. It's a kind of intermediate tables. We won't maintain any retention period. Can we try failsafe without trial account? Without trial account. With the trial account, no, not possible.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Ram.
Okay, so we understand that we have covered the PTR, point in time recovery, and time travel. That is a great concept.
Hmm, hmm,
What about the database is
hmm,
gone, corrupted, or
mhm.
something happened? Is there
Yeah,
any way we can recover?
exactly. Coming to that. So even this is applicable for schemas as well as databases also. Not only
Um,
for the tables. Schemas also it is applicable. Database also applicable. Once we discuss the clone concept, right? Then
mhm.
we will see this how to recover this database, how to like bring back this schema. We will see those things.
Okay. The addition to the same question, so development, QA, and then prod environment. Okay.
Hmm, hmm,
In real time, production to the QA to the development refreshes will happen. Okay.
hmm.
Is there any way here we can perform the backup and refresh to the lower environments?
So that option we will call it as a cloning option, zero copy cloning option. With the
Okay.
help of zero copy clone, we can take a backup. Complete database, we can take a backup. But one good part is here, within
Mm.
the same account, we can maintain dev as well as QA account also.
Oh, it's a one network.
Yes, one
One to
network.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
one network we can do that. That's the beauty of zero copy cloning. So that we will coming session we will discuss about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I know what you're teaching now. It's like more DBA concept, database administrator
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I understand better because, I deal daily basis on this. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I can see the question
Hi, sir.
beside using.
Hi, sir.
Yes, Vikram.
Are we covering other than CSV file format like JSON, Parquet files?
Yes, JSON we are
Example.
going to discuss. JSON and Parquet we are going to discuss when we are working with AWS integration, right? At that time, I will show you how to work with the JSON files.
Okay, sir.
Beside using seconds in offset, can we use a stream and is there time limitation for that? Sayed, I didn't get your question. So stream, you are talking about the Snowflake stream you are talking about? If you are talking about Snowflake stream, that is altogether it's a different concept. But so here always we need to specify in the form of seconds only when we are using offset method. I didn't get your question completely, Sayed. Could you please elaborate it if you don't mind? I got confused in between offset and stream. I mean, if you are talking about the limitation in the offset seconds, there is no limitation. You can give, but only the thing is you have to give in the form of seconds only. That's the only thing. You cannot give minutes, you cannot give in the form of hours. Don't get confused, Arun. See, the data will be available in the table permanently. It will be available in the table where we are loading the data in the table. See this here. What we are doing, just we are using a select statement. That's it. In the retention period, we are not doing any modification on a table, right? So the permanently data will be available. Only the thing is, after the retention period, you cannot go back and then you can check times. I mean, uh, for that particular period of time, you cannot able to see what is available at that snapshot period of time. You cannot see the snapshot. For example, if the table is available, for example, today we discussed about this, the day 1, day 2, day 3, right? Suppose there is no time travel, you cannot able to go back and then you can check 2 days before what it is available at that particular time. You cannot go back, you cannot go with this timestamp option and then you cannot check. Only the check is you can always do select star from table. That's it. Your data permanently it will be available in the tables. It will not be deleted. It based on the retention period. There is no concept of don't mix this the storage with retention period. Retention period is completely different. The storage is complete. Storage, whatever the data we stored in the table, it will be permanently available until we drop. Retention period is the capability of going back and then checking what exactly is available on particular period of time. Clear? So this concept, please practice 1 or 2 times, then you will get one clear idea on it. When you are practicing, you may get a number of questions. So if you have any questions, note it down. We will discuss it again, guys. Okay, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Thank you all for your time. Bye.